Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Kidder Street Noise Show on the 4000 Halls podcast. Can't remember last time, 2 weeks since the last one.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. How have you been? What have you been up to?
Been good. Been busy. I think was the last one before the international break.
Yeah, it was just after birthday before.
Yeah, so I was over in Amsterdam working on the Darts for ITV, and then we were away last week. We went up to Northumberland for a few days. Mum and Dad's silver wedding, and then come back end of last week, and then first week back at uni after almost 18 months this week. So it's been pretty full on.
Back at uni, back at the gym.
Yeah. New starts.
Well, we'll see it. We'll do twice, so let's calm down a little bit. Yeah, so obviously watched the Preston game Sunday dinner time. And I was struggling to think of much to talk about on the podcast. We weren't really sure we were going to do an episode because of how drab the game was until...
Terrible game for you, weren't
it? Yeah. The one that weren't for the neutrals, definitely not. I don't think Sky have lost subscriptions after that.
Ball got stretched off.
But just, terrible game. So we weren't sure we were going to record a podcast this week, but then the fans forum came out and there is a lot to speak about and a lot to digest in the fans forum. So first part we'll talk about Preston, and then I say parts 2 and 3. It'll be the second part we'll talk about the fans forum, but we'll have a break in there just so we can take a deep breath, let off some steam, and we'll get into the rest of it. But got a story because I've been playing FM since we went away. Right, obviously, took my laptop away because we didn't know what the weather was going to be like. Staying in this cottage in the northeast, I thought, if it's raining and stuff, and everyone's chilling out around the fire or watching telly, I'll play a footy manager.
That fake football. Yeah,
you just look at spreadsheets, that fake football shit. So downloaded all the add-ons, face packs, kits, Japanese database. I'm loving it. I've got proper back into it, which is worrying because I need to actually be busy and doing stuff. But I'm just managing Aberdeen to treble at the minute. So the other day, playing footy manager, 1-0 up away at Celtic. Graham Shinney's had 2 yellow cards from down to 10 men. Gets to the 91st minute. And Celtic bring everyone up for a corner. Joe Hart's in our box. We win the first contact. And my centre attacking mid, Jan Dander, who was playing for FM24, signing him. Class player. Dribbles it out from the edge of our own box. And he's at the halfway line now. But there's no one in there at half. So he's running towards goal to score a tap and make it 2-0. He goes down injured. Hamstring injury. Out for 4 weeks. Celtic defender then comes running back. And I'm like, the highlight will end here. It's just his injury. There's nothing else to show. Celtic carry on passing it. 2 passes, 3 passes. I'm like, kick it out. The player's down. I'm stood up here. I'm stood up at my desk. Kick the ball out now. Took a few more passes to get it into the box. They score 1-1. I was fuming. Our 4th official's face, fuming. Anyway, take kick off, another highlight. I thought, you've got to be kidding me. Point away at Celtic with 10 men, still not bad. Straight from kick off, ping, 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 ping. A tackle in the box, which I think my guy's won the 2D circles. It looks like he's won the ball. The ball's going out for a throw and he's won it. VAR, ref runs over to halfway line, does a signal, penalty to Celtic. Got beat 2-1. So I was fuming. Robbed. A proper FM. But yeah. I've not. Apart from everything else that's been going well recently, that moment has killed me. And yeah, hopefully it might kill my football manager addiction. I piss me off that much. Right. Okay. So the football's the proper stuff now. Proper footy, not fake footy. Preston away. I mean, where do we start on the game? So the first note I've got is the red cards. Now, the first one, obviously Preston's red card. I think it was a red card because obviously it's a stupid tackle. There's no need to do it. It's over aggressive. It could have if he's plants his foot, he broke his leg,
or his ankle, or whatever.
But I still wasn't confident the ref was going to send him off.
No, neither was I, to be honest. In real time, like the first time we saw it, I thought, he's like clearly not on the ball. It's a bad tackle.
Yeah.
I was like, I weren't thinking, oh, definite red card. It weren't until I saw like the replay after he'd actually sent him off. I was like, Jesus, that's like one of the worst tackles I've seen for a while.
Yeah.
I wasn't like confident.
Usually like sometimes you see a tackle and you're like, oh yeah, they're down to 10 men here. But it was like the ref could send him.
Yeah.
But I don't expect this ref to do that.
Yeah.
But then I was worried for the rest of the game that the ref was going to try and probably even it up. And there were some shocking yellow cards in the second half.
Yeah.
The Todd Cantwell one.
It feels like the pattern from Burnley like continued in a way because a lot of the cards we got that day were soft. I think we said there was only Carters in that game that
was probably a yellow
deserved a booking.
Yeah.
I mean the one that like Cantwell got.
It's just
a yellow card.
I mean it's barely even a foul, but to book him for that, it's just. But I think he's just one of them people that refs will enjoy booking.
Yeah,
he's got that look to him that like. And he's got that. Obviously,
he's got a bit of an attitude about him.
It's not even that, but it's like his image. It's not him himself. It's how he's portrayed by the media and stuff.
Yeah.
That's got that like refs or officials will enjoy being nasty to him. So yeah, ref were diabolical, and we'll get into Beck's red card later on. But what did you think of Rover's performance?
I think we're obviously like lacking that spark that we seem to have enjoyed over in pretty much every game so far this season. Really, I don't know. It just like luster is probably the best way to describe it. There wasn't really a spell in the game where even after pressing went down to 10 men, where you're thinking, oh, we really look like scoring it.
Yeah, we didn't look like scoring all the 90.
They're under the cosh. There was never a spell in the game where you thought that. So it just felt a bit flat, didn't it?
Yeah. I think like there just seems to be a lack of patterns of like what to do when the ball's in like a certain area, like certain movements and stuff. I mean, I look at the team like lined up with, and he's got Baker and Hedges on one wing, on each wing, and they're both players that are going to want to cut inside and not play out wide, basically. But you're going to do that. You're going to need your fullbacks to overlap to give you some width. Now Beck can do that. Obviously, played in a 5 at the back at Dundee last year and was good bombing on and like very good output attacking wise for them last season. But he's almost like, I feel like Hyam's holding him back a bit at the minute to like cover him because Hyam's playing on that side. But then at the other side, Carter at right back, he's never going to be that guy. You're not that guy, pal. He's never going to be the guy that's going to like overlap your winger and like get to the byline and put a cross in.
Yeah.
And I think he actually did it in the first half. It's probably our best chance, but are other teams going to look at how we set up and think, yeah, we need to watch for Hayden Carter's overlapping runs?
I think his selection was probably not the best. I'm thinking more higher up the pitch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Starting on Hashi, I know it's difficult to drop him after he scored 2 brilliant goals against Bristol City, but and the start he's made to his Rovers career overall. But to me, with how well Gueye played at Burnley and how much of a threat he posed in a very similar game, a derby game, an away game where you're probably not going to have as much of the ball as you tend to enjoy it at Ewood. I know he was coming back from suspension as well, but I think I'd have definitely started him.
I just think he's obviously set up to like keep it tight and take the limited amount of chances you're going to get. And if you're only going to get 1 or 2 chances a game, which we didn't really, I'd rather him fall to Ahashi than Gueye.
Yeah.
But I think the 3 behind the striker, and I'm not saying like Baker, like obviously Baker only had the 1 half going off injured after the tackle, but he's not a winger, so he's being played out of position. Dolan and Hedges are almost playing themselves out of the team, like the way they're playing. Like, I mean, when you've got Sigurdsson to come back, Cantwell to get fully fit, and this Cozy Dubry doing well in the under-21s, and when he's coming on off the bench, you can't be putting in 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 performances because you then can't justify your position next week.
Does Hedges seem to go under the radar in terms of...
I like Hedges.
In terms of his performances that I'm on about.
I mean, they're always at Deepdale.
Well,
watching Ryan Hedges at Deepdale, he's like the Vietnam dog.
He's definitely got previous, hasn't he?
Yeah. But
this is the Vietnam dog.
It's just like... I mean, I like Hedges. I mean, our best chance comes from him getting the ball on the edge of the box, turning, having a shot, and Dolan should score the rebound. Yeah. But he's not a winger. And he shouldn't be like forced into that position. I think... but then I don't know where you'd best be playing him because he's not really a 10 either. Like I said, if you're going to play him out on the wing, you need an overlapping fullback. But we're not playing that either. Maybe he's better as like a 5, 2 in the middle, 3 up front as an actual winger, as like a front 3, and then he has room to cut inside. But yeah, it's a worrying one at the minute because he doesn't. After how long has he been here now? 3, 4 years? 3 years?
He was signed in Mowbray's last season.
Yeah.
So.
And I know he's been injured for
almost 3 years in January. I think.
Yeah. So. I know he's been injured, but you'd think after 3 years he'd have a nailed-on position where like you'd say, yeah, he's going to play there most weeks when he's fit. He doesn't seem to have that. Like he's obviously played like wing back for us a few times and full back, but I think after 3 years, for a player like his experience, you'd want to say that is Ryan Hedges' position, and we just and I think it's the same with Dolan.
And correct me if I'm wrong as well, but I can't seem to remember a spell where you think, oh, Hedges is in a great moment. You know, he's in really good form. You know, I don't think he's really ever had that.
There was the first couple of games under Yondor where he got the assist. I think did he get 2 assists against Swansea away?
Yeah.
And then he laid Smodic off for his first goal. Who was that against? Was that against Hull? Or was that against Swansea? No, that's the same game I'm thinking of. The 3-0 win, I'm sure it...
I'm not sure how it feels like a very long time ago.
Yeah, it was because he laid Smodic off for his first goal for us, and then he played the cross-field ball to Diaz where he chipped down and he chested down and chipped the keeper. So then he got 2 assists. I think he scored it in one of the home games, and then 3 games after that he got injured, and it was like he missed a big chunk of that season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Like it seems like every time he does pick up a bit of form, he also picks up an injury. But then he can go 4 or 5 games without really affecting the game whatsoever, and that's when. But then I think he's honest enough and experienced enough to know that if he is like after 50 minutes against Preston the other week, if he'd dragged him off and brought Dubry on, would he have spat his dummy out? Like he probably knows himself he's not had the best half, and like you might want to try something new. Obviously they're down to 10 men, they're defending narrow. Eustace takes him off for Dubry and says, I just want to get more width. I'm going to play this guy out wide, and like you're cutting inside. We're going to try something new for the rest of the game. I think you just need to change things. I think we always see, like obviously talking about Gay coming in for a Hashi, always harsh on a Hashi, but it's not always personal on a Hashi. It's not always like, yeah, you've been bad, so I'm bringing this guy in. It's just a change of tactics, and it requires a change of personnel, which the squad we've got at the minute, I think we do have not 2 11s because there are like Travis and Tronstad, and your back 5 more or less are like solid and they'll be that whole season. But when it comes to your front 4, we've probably got 6, 7 different options that all give you something different, so you can mix it up a bit, and players are just going to have to be happy or accept being rotated until we find what. I mean, no matter what we rotated to on Sunday, it wouldn't work because it was shocking going forward. But yeah, a big rant on team selection. I saw some worrying statistics from the season so far. Now I know we're obviously unbeaten, got a good start to the season, but some of the statistics suggest that it won't carry on like this. So for all the people that don't like the data and stuff like that, and like, you little nerds, like you can fast forward a bit. But I did have a look. We had a sixth bottom for expected goals. We had a sixth bottom for touches in the final third. We had a fifth bottom for touches in the opposition box. And we had a fourth bottom for progressive passes, which I was shocked at because I thought that Eustace is and would be more direct, but the fact that fourth bottom for progressive passes is a worrying sign.
Yeah, I think those two, the sixth bottom for touching the final third and fourth bottom for progressive passes, that was, to me, highlighted in more in the Preston game more than any other game so far this season. Because, like we said, like at the start, it just looked like we didn't really have any sort of plan or approach when we're on the ball.
Yeah. Like, how do we go about changing that? And I mean, obviously, you can just get yourself further up the fit. Because one of the stats I looked at as well was percentage of goal kicks taken long, and I think we're only we're like mid-table, but it is like 50%, which I'm shocked at. We do mix it up. Sometimes go long, sometimes go short. But I think if you're only having so many touches in the final third, and your progressive passes are so low in the opposition box, surely you would, if you take a goal kick long, get you back forward up to the halfway line, you're halfway there. It only takes one pass to get in the final third, then and obviously more touches in the box will lead to more goals. So yeah, the worrying statistics for me, I just think
more variation. Is what you're saying? Do you think?
Just, I'd say just be a bit braver. Just like start higher up. There were a lot of times where Hyam got the ball off Pers, and he's trying to kick it long from the edge of his own box, and even if Ahashi wins the header in their centre circle, there's a lot to do before he gets the ball under and causes them any problems 45 yards out. Whereas I think if that's Pers kicking it up to one of the two centre mids and we win the second ball, and Ahashi's already up like towards the edge of their own box, if you do win a loose ball, if it's not a snapshot, you can still keep the ball higher up. And we just didn't look like, even when we did down to 10 men, I don't think we ever stepped up enough to. Like, the higher up you start, the more you win the ball back up there. And I know you're leaving yourself more, which we'll get onto like some positive statistics, like like defensively, we are looking very good at the minute, but there has to be a balance. And I worry that, like, at the minute it's great, like 1-3, drawn 3, still unbeaten, looking good, but it only takes like 2 or 3 games without a win whilst you're playing like that, whilst you're not having shots on target, whilst you're not scoring, and fans start to go, like, what's the actual plan here? Like, what are we doing? I mean, I was 17, 18 when Allardyce was manager, and like going to away games where if you got a touch in there half, you were lucky, and it was painful going to watch Rovers. And I mean, I'm not saying it's that bad yet, but they're like worrying trends to start with. But I think maybe it's just like shoring up the defence first, and then we can start progressing forward as the season goes on. Obviously, don't want it to go too far and make the defence worse, but yeah, it's just something to think about. But there are positive statistics as well. We have scored the most goals in the league, which is obviously good for us because, like, I mean, score the most, more likely to win. Most tackles in the middle third, like Travis and Chonstad. Like, you win the midfield, you more than likely going to win or like dominate the majority of the game. So
I feel like that's something you'd expect from those two, which is which is really encouraging.
Yeah. And another one was, I've not wrote it down for some reason. I think it was like the least amount of expected goal actions on us. That's going to sound awful.
Utter walk
nonsense, yeah. But yeah, we're one of the best teams for having expected goal actions against us, whatever that means.
Yeah. Well, it's basically attacks, isn't it?
Yeah, translation in the description.
You conceded the least attacks or something.
Yeah. Owen Beck's red card. Now, just before we started recording this, Osmatic has been given a charge by the FA that he's got till Monday to appeal.
Yeah, Monday 6 p.m. isn't it?
I don't think the ref wants to send Beck off. I think he's doing it to even it up. If you watch it on like the highlights of the ref sending off like on Sky and whatever, he actually pulls his yellow card out of his pocket first.
Yeah.
And then puts it back in.
We both saw that, me and Dad, when we were watching it, and to me the whole thing was like blown out of proportions.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't at first, like, because it wasn't really shown in real time, and the replays weren't really the best of the actual incident. Everyone thought, oh, he's like kicked out because like the Preston player was like rolling around on the floor and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Beck has just gone to kick the ball. I know he's like swung, but like, is there any difference between that and what the Brighton player did to Rice the other week? Like, Rice has kicked the ball away and he kicked in. Is that not a red card? Whereas he sent Rice off kicking the ball away. Did he book Preston's player for kicking the ball away? Like, you can argue that if he doesn't carry on playing and carry on dribbling, delaying the play, Beck doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Obviously doesn't miss the next 3 games.
He doesn't get bitten. Allegedly.
Yeah.
I've said allegedly at this point.
Yeah. Doesn't allegedly get bitten by the guy with his teeth stuck in his spine. I mean, what is that about? I said this earlier. I could understand if it was you getting kicked on the floor, but it wasn't even him.
Well, you can understand the bite.
No, not that. I could understand the retaliation.
Yeah.
Like, if Beck had booted him up ass, I could understand him getting up and wanting to hurt Beck. I don't obviously biting people just unless you ask you to. But he wasn't even involved in he got tackled off someone else, like, and he was already down on the floor, and he just gets up and back. I'm like, it wasn't even you that had the issue with Beck.
Yeah.
It was just a weird situation. And then the fact that Beck shows the linesman his back and he's like, yeah, and then he goes over to the ref and says, he bit me.
To be honest, the fact the linesman was that close to it and didn't see it is like, I don't know.
Yeah. I've seen some Preston fans try and defend it, and just absolutely. I mean, it's a 10-game ban minimum for me.
Yeah, definitely. And if he is available for the return fixture.
Yeah. So I think someone put on Twitter they're going to buy the Haribo fake teeth and be throwing it on the pitch. But yeah, disappointed that Beck's been banned for 3 games because he has been looked quite promising so far. But
I mean, if he has done that, allegedly, I mean, what goes through your mind? Like, the thing is as well, to me, that's like not something you do like in the heat of the moment when the very missus sends. Like, if he's done that on Sunday, there's a good chance he's done it before. To me, anyway. Do you know what I think?
Yeah, I can understand like if you were getting battered and like fighting for your life, like chewing someone's ear off. But like the guy's got his back turned, which I'd rather him have just swung a punch.
Yeah.
And I want, and if he'd have swung a punch, I'd say, yeah, fair enough, it's a local derby, but the fact that that's gone through your head, like, I'm just going to...
It seems like such a cowardly thing to do, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to chew on his scapula. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Right, that is it.
Get that in the title.
Allegedly. Right, that's it for part 1. In part 2, or the rest of the podcast, we'll be talking about some of the issues from the fans forum. See you in part 2. Okay, we are back for part 2 of this episode of the Kidder Street Noise Show on 4,000 Holes, and the Fans Forum notes came out this week. Have you had a chance to read them?
Yes, I did have a quick flick through.
What did you think?
It was...
Here we go again.
Yeah, that's a feeling you get from it. You read, it feels like every time a new Fans Forum minutes is released, I don't know, there's just many different issues that just worry you.
Yeah.
You know, and this one's no different. I mean, it's tough to know. We've always got the notes from it, the issues we have with it in front of us here, but it really is tough to know where to start.
Yeah, so the notes we've got down are in order of how they appear on the Fans Forum notes. So, first one, they talk about the financial issues, and one of the comments was the club were thanked for the statement that came out and helped quash any concerns around the club. Were your concerns quashed?
No, I don't think anyone's concerns were quashed by the statement that was released because of how similar each statement seems to be, and that was
the ChatGPT statement.
That was the main thing in the replies to that statement on every platform that it was released on.
Yeah.
You know, so copy and paste. You know, dribble.
It's just. I think what was it? What word did they use? Rather than using we, they used something else on that last statement, and we picked up on it. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but it was like rather than saying we as a collective, they used another word, or like the owners or them or something like that. It wasn't like
they do tend to use the owners quite a lot, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a we, like they're not connected to the club, which we'll get on to the next point, because Pasha Sahil Pasha, I don't know, said that he doubtful the owners would visit in the near future. Now it's been 13 years since last visit, 12 years since last visit.
Something like that. And it was 2013.
Over a decade, isn't it?
Yeah, so, over a decade, yeah.
What's the point in it now? Like, what benefit are they getting from this? Allegedly. Like,
I'm not going to go there.
But we've seen it from other clubs that have had takeovers, and like the owners are, like, even look at like Birmingham, and I know like Wrexham's like a standout one because we've got celebrity status, the people that come, but like Birmingham's owners at the majority of the games, and it brings like a feel good factor to the club, and I know like there's been obviously very bad times between the Rovers fans and the owners, but bridging that gap would be a start by coming back to Ewood and not apologising, because they're not going to do that, but like the small efforts will soon add up. And I don't think some people will ever forgive them, but at least make an effort. Like, at least try and bridge that gap. If you're just going to say, yeah, you know what, it's not really viable for us to visit at the minute, and I don't think it ever will be. Sell up then.
Well, he said in a statement, didn't he, like post-COVID, I think it was like going into Mowbray's last season. It was like a statement thanking the fans for being loyal to the club during the lockdowns, and people that still bought season tickets and everything else. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said in that statement that they'd be coming to a home game during that 21-22 season, and it just never happened.
Yeah.
And just things like that, it just like adds on to that disconnection and the lack of trust, between the owners and everyone else.
Yeah.
To me, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, the financial issues are worrying. The fact that the apparently concerns have been quashed, and then we'll get onto it in one of the next sections, and I'll explain a bit more. But the next thing that was spoke about was season ticket sales. Now,
this is quite bizarre, this section of the minutes, I thought.
Yeah. The way they talk about this and the way they. I mean, I don't know how if this is how they actually said it or how it's just portrayed in the minutes, but the way they spoke about this is honestly the most abusive way an owner's ever spoke about the fans or club, apart from like the travesty ones like Reading and stuff. But to say after the discount we've given you, we're disappointed how many people have bought a ticket, like they just have no idea how badly they run this club at all. Not just the owners, but like the CEO and marketing managers and all this lot. We are the worst marketed club in football, and the fact that they think we're not 30 quid off and like you still not bought one.
Yeah.
It honestly, I was disgusted when I read it because I just think. And then one of the other quotes was, "We were one of the only Championship clubs to reduce its prices this season." The prices haven't reduced.
Yeah.
Last year's adult season ticket was $429. This year's is $449. It's gone up 20 quid. And I know we had the early bird, but we had the early bird for 5 weeks at the end of the season after the manager had yet to win a home game. We'd won 3 games in 15. And they were
just stayed up on the final day of the season.
And they were practically posting Smodic on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. It was definitely going. So there was nothing to be optimistic about at that point. Yeah. If they'd have kept the early bird offer going all the way through to the cutting off the sales, yeah, they'd have sold more. But instead they chose to increase the prices. You can't just keep saying we reduce the prices, because you didn't.
Yeah.
I think the second phase was still 429, weren't it?
Yeah. We've mentioned this before as well, but you've got to look at some of the weird strategies, if you like, to try and sell more. Where they came out and said, "Oh, we're gonna sell 300 season tickets in the Riverside for was it 300 quid?
Yeah.
And there's gonna be 300 existing, 300 new. Why don't you just say? I mean, in the Riverside, it should probably be cheap, cheaper still than this anyway. But why don't you say all the tickets in the Riverside are 300 quid?
Yeah.
What would you lose? I mean, is it even half full anymore?
No.
So.
To be honest, right, so we were talking about this in the pub the other week, but after or before one of the games, and I said, like, what would you, like, if like a new owner came in, they could invest as much money as they want, what would you do? And I said, I'd want a new Riverside, but I want it to be like half stand, and my idea for it was, and we were going to do a podcast episode on this, like the post box stand at Old Trafford Cricket Ground, what's it called? The red one with the glass windows.
Oh, the point. Not the point.
Yeah, it is a point.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking of the dressing rooms on the other
side. Yeah. So I was thinking of like that sort of stand above like seating / terracing, with like glass fronted stand with like a restaurant in or like a bar. My idea was like have the bar the length of the pitch, a bit like they do at Spurs. Have home fans pitch side, away fans the other side, separated by glass, so like don't mix.
Yeah.
But obviously, like the money that you get from away fans going in there pre-game and during the game and stuff, being miles better than the concourse at Darwin End. And then underneath, I want a Rovers museum, and we're going to do a podcast episode on what you would put in a Rovers museum. But then I look at the way they speak about, like they've lost 310k in season ticket sales, and like how much money they're going to spend on safe standing. I just think that is never. It's not even an option with Venky's as owners. It's not even even in the same universe as ever happened.
No, I mean we're looking at the possibility of safe standing being crowdfunded. So that's
yeah. It's just. But yeah.
Yeah. Going back to the club seemingly complaining. That's what it feels like almost about season ticket sales. They have to take into account the drop off in the team's performance.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this like in the last episode or the episode before that. Before last season, it felt like the aim really was promotion for like 2 or 3 seasons, and we should have finished in the top six.
Definitely playoffs, yeah.
At least once.
Yeah.
And to go from that to staying up by the skin of a teeth on the last day of the season, like you said as well, Eustace hadn't won a home game. It was looking like that Smolletts was going to go. It felt like no money was going to get reinvested. You've got to take all these things into account. People aren't going to be as willing to part with, 400 quid or whatever it is.
Yeah.
When the position of the club completely changes.
Yeah. But like, obviously, like the Steve Waggett interview in January, February, it got released. We said like our aim is to stay in the division.
Yeah.
Like, well, price of season tickets, like it's your aim to stay in the division. Then, if you're aiming for playoffs and promotion, people will pay more because they'll get motivated and they'll. And this is before we get onto like the TV deal and stuff. This is just simply, but like that end of the season and the message from the club is we just need to stay in the division and we need to stick together and stay in the division. Like people don't want that. That's not a goal or something that gets you excited to leave the house on a Saturday morning and go down to watch Rovers keep you on a 12:30 kicker. I mean, we're unbeaten. Like tomorrow for me, we're unbeaten. I won every game at home. Be a tenner a ticket for me tomorrow. Everywhere at ground will be a tenner a ticket. Well, I've not even looked how much it is. I think like 24 quid or something. But there'll be people that might have like watched the Burnley game on Sky that might not have been to me for years, or watched the Preston game on Sky. Probably won't want to go after watching that, but they might have like, oh, Rovers are doing well, aren't they? Yeah, won every game. Oh, yeah,
had a good start.
Yeah. Oh, they're playing QPR on Saturday at dinner time. You're gonna go home and get some lunch after. Like, I don't know, like 2 guys or a family, like, and then, oh, should we have a look how much tickets are? Yeah, it's 70 quid for all 4 of us. Now, we'll probably just watch it on telly like everyone else will be doing because it's on Sky Sports. Like, or if it were tenner for adults, 2 quid for kids. Oh, it's only 22 quid. Should we go? Like, get some food down there and whatnot. But it's just they just took zero responsibility whatsoever. And then like, there were comments like, oh, we were planning on doing a 17-game plan after the QPR game. But what do you mean you were planning? Why has that changed?
Yeah.
What do you mean you were planning on it? You still can.
Yeah.
You can do it whenever you want. You run the club. But like, whilst you're unbeaten, like this is the perfect opportunity to get people like on board.
Because they know now that if they price it similarly to the price of the season tickets, there just won't be any interest in them.
No.
Going to make any money for it.
But then they tied their own hands behind the back now because they said a 17-game plan is, I don't know, 200 quid, 150 quid, whatever they want to call it. Season ticket holders that are paid full whack will be like, oh, wait a minute, I paid over double that for my season ticket. I've only been to 3 games.
Yeah.
So they kick themselves up the arse all the time.
The 18 to 30 section. That doesn't exist. It's not a thing.
It was the first thing I saw when I looked at the season ticket section. The first thing I saw. I went, adults, 18 to 30. I went, 18 to 30? 18 to 23. And the guy who writes the minutes checks it. There's a second person on the chair who reads them. There's 2 people from the club that read it all and check it's okay and then publish it. And out of 4 people, not one person saw that and went, should we change that? We just went, nah, we're ready.
Unless they've actually called it that in the fans forum itself, which I'm like, surely not. I don't know who it was that read out the numbers.
I think it was Yati Sufi.
Was it?
I think so, because he's like head of commercial now.
Unless he's actually called it that, which surely not.
I hope not. If you're head of commercial, still think it's 18 to 30. I mean, but yeah, one of the first things I saw, and it doesn't shock me anymore because let's be honest, every like press release from Rovers has a spelling mistake in it, so what's the point? They were expected a 10% uplift from last season with the pricing. Now, anyone who's a football fan and knew what was going on and knew the upcoming Sky TV deal knew that wouldn't be the case. They would have to do something drastic to get, and I'm talking like £200 season ticket to get a 10% uplift just because of the Sky TV deal. We've now got, from the start of the season to when we played Burnley at home on the 4th of January, only 5 of our home games out of, I think it's 14, will be played at Saturday at 3 o'clock. So if you don't live, which a lot of people forget how big of a football club we are, and we have supporters all over the country.
Yeah.
And for them people, if they're looking at a 2-hour drive, would you come tomorrow? In the rain, 12 o'clock kickoff. You'd be setting off at 9 o'clock, not getting home till after 6, potentially. Like, or you could sit at home in the warm, watch it on telly. Like, and you try and tell them, you try and speak to them and say, I mean, they're moaning about 310k of under budget season ticket. You got an extra 8 million from Sky for the TV deal. 310k is nothing. It's a fart to that. It's absolutely nothing. But the fact that they were expecting it just because they'd knocked 30 quid off, I think it just shows how out of touch they are.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's worrying that they keep mentioning how much they've lost on that, because I just think next season they'll say they might up it again and just say, well, we lost money on it last year, so we can't reduce it like that again, when the opposite is true. But yeah, that's all I've got to say on the season ticket sales and how they spoke to the fans about that. Other issues that were mentioned in the fans forum was one of the first points. People complaining about inches replacing Strongbow in the concourse. I'm sure you can still get down free on the concourse.
Isn't that the Blues Bar as well?
Yeah, Blues Bar as well. But you're complaining about inches over Strongbow. You need to sort your head out.
Yeah.
It's a miles better pine.
You need to sort your taste buds out.
yeah. If you're pining for Strongbow, there's 60-year Arnold's at Blackburn have a better beer than that. Honestly, it's shocking. And the fact that you brought it up after, I mean, you can bring it up whatever you want at the fans forum, but come on, at least make it something we can all get behind. Safe standing. 2 points on this.
God, I thought we were going to talk for ages about this, because I was just like, I just read it, I was like...
So going on, the first point, I'll let you go first on this.
What, liaising with Burnley? That's just like... That just makes you think the people in charge of starting football people. If you're... Can you imagine working for Burnley and getting an email from someone at Rovers asking for advice about installing safe standing? Why would Burnley want to aid us in any way? And why would we want to aid them? Yeah, but the thing is, it's like the fact that we're in the position of doing that. You know, historically we always had like the upper hand in everything, facilities.
We spoke about it in the Burnley episode, didn't we? Saying like we were light years ahead of them, and now they feel like they're years ahead of us, and this just proves it.
I mean, the thing is, how's no one
stopped them?
Well, that, but I'd love to have been there in the fans forum when that was said, because like, sure, the reaction in the room.
Yeah.
I'd have had my hands in my head to be like,
screaming into a cushion. It's not just that, right? But I mean, we went to Burnley game, and the safe standing was good, right? It was a good experience. I don't think the facilities were superb. Like it just. I can't really remember much of it, but I'm sure it was just like a rail above the seats.
It wasn't actually like metal seating or rail seating, whatever it's called.
So like, I wouldn't be looking at them as like the team to copy on this topic.
No, it was decent, but it was very basic.
Yeah. So I
It
look
was
at
like an entry level safe standing.
yeah. I look at Birmingham's new safe standing. I look at Stoke's new safe standing. Like all the seats are built into the rails, and it's all very clean and all very like
Bang on, basically.
yeah, basically. And you go to any club in the world, like the cost of safe standing. So when I always bring up the Celtic example because it's the only one I know the costing of. But the Celtic corner, like where all the fans stand up at the minute, they paid £600,000 for 5,000 seats, right? So even if you did the whole Blackburn End lower tier and the whole Darwin End lower tier, it's 1.2 million. Now, obviously, like it's gonna sound crazy. That doesn't sound like a lot of money, but for billionaire owners that could spend as much as they want on stadium facilities and upgrades, and they have no issue funding the club whatsoever, 1.2 million is not a lot of money. It's nothing. I wouldn't even mind if they said we're going to have to take it out of the transfer kit here, so we're not going to be able to spend the money from Smodic. Like,
because it's like a thing, it's an investment.
Yeah.
It's something that will last for years.
Yeah. And obviously, you wouldn't need to spend that much because you're not going to do the whole Black and lower tier. It'll be, I don't know, the NO1, NO5 blocks. And I said the Darwin and lower tier. I think you could do all of that, and the away fans would look. We used to be one of the best away grounds in the country. Like fans, like every team in the Premier League and a lot of big championship clubs always used to sell out because we're a good place to go. I don't think we're that anymore. Like we're falling behind everyone else because of the like lack of investment.
And I feel like at the minute, like the way things are going, like the fact that we haven't got it yet, and we've been asking for it for a few years, it feels like now. I feel like we're going to be like one of the last to, and we're going to be catching up with everyone else because like, eventually everyone will have it. So why not?
Yeah, well, everyone will have it, and like, but like, if you're say you've got a 5-year plan, and I know this is getting way ahead of ourselves. Like, if you've got a 5-year plan of getting into the Premier League and like competing towards the top of the Premier League and qualifying for Europe and stuff, like the amount of I know that obviously like not even like, it's not even a conversation for Rovers at the minute, but eventually it can be. But that safe standing and that having them facilities benefits you massively, and like to do it on the cheap and to look at Burnley for advice and try and do it as cheap as possible, you just have to do it again.
Yeah.
Why not just do it now? Like, I mean, the Blackburn End's never been really done up since
it was built. Yeah.
So that's what 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, just take all the old seats out, build safe standing all the way through it, and like don't put a rail in front of the existing seat because the existing seats are crap.
And people over 6 foot like me and Rob can finally be comfortable at home games.
Can finally go. Good goal that, wasn't it? But yeah, the fact that they even dared say it in a fans forum, we're currently looking at so they've liaised with Burnley, but they're currently looking at a simpler system that is less expensive. I don't know how, right? I don't know how, after someone at the start of the fans forum said that the club's statement helped quash concerns about the owner's ability to fund the club, and we're looking at a simpler system which is less expensive than Burnley's, can be at the same fans forum meeting. How can them 2 points coexist?
How can those 2 points coexist and no one questioned them about that?
Well, I'm pretty sure they did. I just don't think. Well, I'm assuming they did. I mean,
I'm hoping they did.
Well, yeah, praying that they did. But I'm assuming that people would have said, right.
Maybe so, but
obviously we're not going to know everything that was said at the fans forum. But I don't know. It's just like for me, I'd just be banging my table at that point. Wait a minute. Back to point one. Where we quashed. Remember when we said we quashed concerns?
All night, like, oh no.
When we said we quashed concerns, it was only about 17 minutes ago. Don't worry about it. Have a look at minutes. And now he's telling me you want something less expensive. But come on, tomato. Which one is it? Let's have a go. So yeah, it's it's a mixed messages again.
Yeah.
Which is what I said to Steve Waggett. A lot of frustration for Blackburn fans is the mixed messaging, the communication. Just be honest with us. Even if it's bad, even if it's like terrible, fans would rather be honest because this is more frustrating than knowing the truth.
Yeah, the fans forum at the minute feels like a waste of time, and
it's a box ticking exercise.
Yeah, yeah. And to be honest, if I was there, I'd hate it. I think.
Yeah.
Just having to listen to that and just.
What about inches over Strongbow? Inches over Strongbow? He's just told us that we're getting some cardboard rails above our seats for safe standing because it's cheaper.
Just having to listen to it and also like not having anything you bring up accepted.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not going to be. I hate it. I think.
Well, 1.2 million for safe standing, Blackburn and Down, and get your hands in your pockets tomorrow at QPR with crowdfunding for it.
Yeah, I mean,
we should have it ready for about 16 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be there on.
With 12,000 on, so 100 quid each.
Yeah.
Great, that won't it? Spur change.
Yeah, we'll have contactless readers outside.
Yeah.
Outside the ground, just
£10 a month for a year.
Just tap there. And,
while stewards are checking your tickets, make sure you got the right age on it. Make sure you're not in 18 to 30 category. That you're doing crowdfunding as well.
Just tap on that reader and safe stand will be with us in no time.
Yes, indeed. All right, if you're still with us, thank you very much for listening, watching, whichever one you're doing. Give the 4,000 Holes podcast a follow. Give the YouTube channel, the YouTube video a like. The YouTube channel a subscribe. Leave a comment on what you think our analysis of both the team and the fans forum are. And we'll be back.
Soon.
Yeah, we'll be back soon. Not cementing anything in yet.
Sure. We've got Plymouth next week, haven't we?
Yeah. When the financial papers come out, we'll be back.
Yeah. Maybe next week. We'll see.
Anyway, we'll see you in a bit.
See you in a bit.